Hello, my name is Sara and this is my tale of renter's hell. I moved into an apartment in Bushwick, Brooklyn 2 years ago. And I moved in there in May, and so obviously that's springtime. And by the time winter rolled around, like even late fall, November, there's like very little heat. And I had a thermostat in my apartment, and like it would never get over like 59 degrees. And I called my landlord up, who for the purposes of this story I'll call John Doe. Anyway, John Doe was like, he would give me this excuse when I would call to tell him how cold it was, and he would tell me that there was still warm air trapped in the apartment from summer, and so that was what was keeping the heat from being able to like really kick in, and that I was going to have to wait for January to really have the heat going, and that I had to be patient. What he always told me was put on a sweater, just put on a sweater, because when it was really cold and I really needed it, I would have heat. And I would say, but it's freezing now. And he would say, well, Sarah, yesterday it was like 65 degrees. And I was like, but today it's 35 degrees, so I need heat. And he would just feed me a sign about putting on a sweater, waiting for the heat to kick in. So I finally told this story to a friend of mine who's like a home owner, so he's sort of more savvy about laws and all that. And he told me that this was blatantly illegal, that there's a law in New York State that says you have to have heat at 68 degrees between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. from, I think it's like October 1st to May 31st. So when I learned that, I like looked all the laws up online, and I became aware of the fact that my landlord was like obviously completely ill-informed about the laws, and there were all these other sort of shady things that he would do. There was a hole, like a very big leak in the ceiling of my apartment. I'm on the top floor, and he told me that it was likely my fault, because apparently I'm like busying myself putting holes in my own ceiling. When the toilet would stop working, he would tell me that that was my fault and I was going to have to cover the cost of the plumber. So all these sort of weird things. So I decided to go meet with a lawyer to sort of get informed about all these laws. And in looking at my lease, the lawyer told me that my landlord was guilty of something called an illegal rent overcharge, which is when you sign a lease, and this is only for rent-controlled or rent-stabilized apartments, it is illegal for a landlord to charge you first month's rent and last month's rent and a security deposit. Like it's either or. It's like first month's rent and security deposit. They can't then charge you another month's rent. And that the punishment for doing that is like a punitive damages situation in an attempt to get the landlords to stop doing it. So that if your landlord has done that, which mine did, and my rent at the time was $1,100, so he charged me $3,300 to get that lease. He then owed me $3,300 back. And I think that's very important for people to know, that when landlords do these things, that if you go and you meet with a lawyer and you inform yourself about your own rights, you're charged to triple the amount of your initial security deposit. All this is to say, my landlord makes me insane, but I'm dealing with that on my own terms. Also, I like to encourage Albany lawmakers to strengthen rental laws. Thank you.